just what are these? And more importantly, how do we use them to our advantage? Sup y'all, it's your boy Zeals. This is part 1 of the multiple part series for Contingency Contract number 0 Barrenland. In the previous Contingency Contract, aka CC Beta, my videos had the most views. Thanks all to you guys. This time around, I plan on guiding you guys step by step each and every way. My goal is to make simple and to the point guides that are deliberately sectioned and time released to get you prepared and ready. So make sure to smash this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Yeah, this video will be part 1 of the prep series. I'll be talking about the permanent map today, aka the Shattered Avenue. What I mean by permanent or fixed map is that it's not in a daily rotation or something like that. It is available throughout the 14-day period of the Contingency Contract event. If you need help with other parts, make sure you check out the whole playlist, which will be added on top right of your screen for you to navigate once more videos are added onto the playlist. Yeah. Before we get right in, I just want to give a shout out to my latest YouTube members that have joined the squad by hitting that join button down below. Thank you so much to all of you guys that have committed to the channel, to the squad. All right, let's get right into the HQ. Let's answer the question, what the heck are these? They are pretty much deliberately put into the permanent map for you to take advantage of. Remember, for any new doctors out there, Contingency Contract stages do not consume in-game sanity, only real-life sanity, and your goal is to get to risk 18, clear risk 18 for the max event reward currency for the shop. Anything above risk 18 is just challenging yourself and your operators, or just to flex to your buddies. For those of you guys that have done the first Contingency Contract on the global servers, the first one aka CC Beta, don't worry, rest assured guys, the permanent map is going to be easier than the daily rotating maps and the previous permanent map. With that being said, I want to dedicate an entire video to the daily rotating maps. I don't want to just congest everything and confuse the shit out of you guys. So since this is a prep guide and not a strat guide, which also will be coming later on, the first step is to choose whether you want to go with the shifter, tile, strat. In basic English, what I'm trying to say is, do you want to use the advantages that the map is giving you, or do you want to not use them because you're an alpha or something? Maybe you just want to go against the current. I ask you this first because it's obviously important in determining which operators you need to scale up, like which you need to prioritize. Also, by asking the first step, it's going to help you focus down on who you want to bring in terms of your operators and overall your squad. If you're going to use the shifter tile to shift up, push up all your enemies up into the heat pumps. If you choose to go this route, which I highly recommend if you are either a beginner, you're new to the game, or you're relatively new, or you don't have a lot of 6-star or 5-star operators. By choosing to go with the map's advantages, you can bring free operators. Hell, you don't even need an E2 operator, or even 5- and 6-star operators, which we'll talk about more in step 3. Now, step 2 is shake up, man. Shake up your fast redeployment operators. What I mean by that is level up your Project Red. If you don't have Project Red, it's okay. And or Gravel. Now, if you have both, that's great. If you don't have both, you can use Gravel. She is a 4-star operator and she'll do you good. Now, you may be wondering what skills I need to use and how much I need to level them up. We'll talk about that in the latter portion. We're going to talk about the steps first. Now, whatever you chose in step 1 to use the shifters or not, it doesn't matter. The fast redeployment operators, they're really handy in the permanent map. Not only that, throughout the daily rotating maps as well. And they proved their worth in the first Contingency Contract, and they will also in the future. Third step is going to be choose your week where you want to push. It doesn't matter if you get risk 18 in week 1 or 2 in terms of the end results, in terms of the event currencies. At 18, you get the max rewards. Week 1, there are going to be less risks for you to choose. So week 2 is going to be much easier. And that is why you can see the low rarity E1 squads clearing risk 18 in week 2. You're not going to be able to pull this off in the first week, so just hold on to your horses, prepare during the first week, do the daily rotation maps on point, and then tackle week 2 with the added on risks. Just as I showed you guys with the low rarity and the E1 squad that have cleared risk 18 week 2, I'm going to show you guys what you need for week 1. And this is for those that want to challenge, they have a great squad and they just want to push themselves, and also for the fucking flex EP. Yeah. Now, finally, my favorite part, we're going to talk about the operators that you need to prepare, the operators that have stood the test of time, the ones that are being highly recommended, not only for the permanent map, but for the rotating maps, as well as the future contingency contracts. So these 5 and 6 stars, mostly 5 and 6 stars, and the exceptional 4-star operators are going to be worth building up. I did show you guys 3 and 4-star clears, but those are just for reference alternatives to the 5 and 6 stars that I'm going to recommend, and the exceptional 4 stars. Once again, if you're going to use the tile to push all your enemies to the top lane for the heat pumps, where it deals 2000 true damage, meaning it bypasses any damage reduction like armor or magical resistance, you're going to need either Shaw or Feeder, and you need to have them skill level 7 or above. Now, as I go over the list of recommended operators and their skill and skill level, the beautiful part is you don't need to get them M3 Mastery 3'd maxed out of their minds. Yes, it helps if they are M3, but yes, you don't have to have them maxed out because of the heat pump damage. That'll help you with dealing damage, and I'll tell you more about how to abuse them later on in a future strat video, like I said so many times. You don't need to have both, but you can use both for risk 18 or even higher. I think the highest recorded clear risk 27 used both the ping pong pretty much in the heat pump. Yeah. While you don't need skill 2 M3 Ethan and skill 1 M3 Manticore, especially for risk 18, you can see how well they do in the higher risks. Now, if you're not going to use that special tile with the shifters, then you're going to need the arts, guards, or some sort of massive damage and block to deal with the bot lane and the spiders coming from there as well. Now, let's talk about the big boys that I recommend pretty much universally, and that's going to be, of course, Silver Ash number 1. Silver Ash skill 3. Are you fine with skill level 7? Yes, mastery 3 does help, but if you can get mastery 1 even, that's good. Another exceptional operator that you should E2 and level her skill up to at least 7 is going to be Blaze, especially if you're not going to use the strat where you push all the enemies to the top lane. Yes, you can use her in the top lane, but you can use her in the bot lane. She can lock it down, especially with a healing defender like Gumi. Yeah. So she's great down there with her skill 2 at the least skill level 7. Do you need M3? No, but if you invest her into mastery 3, is it a bad thing? No, but once again, you don't need to have mastery 3 for any of the operators that I talk about today for risk 18. Now, if you don't have Blaze, you can use Spectre with Lopland in the bot lane. And also, let's talk about our old man Helliger. He's also great against the Rock Breakers, which pretty much are the big dudes with the red axe, the scary guys. Skill 2 because of the physical evasion that he gets with skill 2. While there are many ways to use Helliger, you want to use him to tank the Rock Breakers while they're taking damage from the heat pump with the skill 2. Now, you want him at least at E2 at a high level so that he can pretty much dish out the damage and stay alive. And skill 7 does work, but if you have a little bit higher, like M1 at least, that's great, but once again, you don't need to have that. Now, of course, we cannot ignore the defenders, especially week 1. The Hoshiguma Nien combo is so good. Yeah, Hoshiguma, you want to have skill 3. You can use skill 2 as well, but skill 3, generally, she's gonna have that crazy damage, but the added defense really helps, and you want her at least skill level 7. Same with Nien. With Nien, you want to use either skill 2 or 3. I've seen clears of both in effect, and you want to have at least skill level 7. Korra is going to be also great, not as good as Hoshiguma, but I mean, she's gonna still be great in this map as well as the daily rotating maps. And of course, we cannot ignore the healing defenders like Zarya. Generally, Zarya is gonna be rocking skill 1. If you can get it to mastery 1, that would be great. You don't really need it. Skill 7 is good enough. If you don't have Zarya, you can use Neuro. Gumi is gonna be used quite often, especially in the bot lane, to hold down the enemies, while Shaw or Feeder gets their SP back up to push enemies to the top lane. Gumi with the self-heal is going to be awesome at the bot lane or even at the top lane. Now, if you just have Gumi and no Zarya or Neuro, you can still use Spot as your second healing defender or Cardigan. Now, the fast redeployment operators play a critical role in either stalling with CCs or buying time by just taking a swing so that your operators that are pretty much acting as a wall, they can survive to live another day, right? So if the fast redeployment operators take a swing, that means you're either Hoshiguma or Nian or even Beagle, they are not taking a swing instead. So they play a critical role, and you want to either use Gravel or Project Red or even both. I know the highest clear used both, but you don't need to have both. You don't need Project Red. You can use Gravel, and there are plenty of players where they just use Gravel and not Project Red. If you need a Project Red, you can always borrow. Remember that you can always borrow an operator from your friends list, the support list. Yeah. So for those operators like Gravel, Project Red, you want to use skill 2, level 7. You don't even need level 7, but level 7 is good enough. Project Red, you want to use skill 2 because of the stun. Not only does it stop the swings or from them moving, but it also resets the swing timer. More on that in the strat video. Now, you can use Waifu skill 2 as well if you're not taking the silence immunity tag, and level 7 is going to be good enough. Also, if you're not going to use a special tile to push up your enemies, then you should pretty much invest into these arts damage guards like Chen skill 2. Yeah, M3 is preferred, but you don't need that. And Lapland skill 2, M3 not really needed as well, but the silence does help if you are not bringing the silence immunity tag for the spiders. As for vanguards, there are many viable, but the ones that stand out that's so universal is of course going to be Myrtle. You don't have to have her at E2. You want to have her at skill 7. If you can M3 her, that's great, but not required whatsoever. Her skill 1 is going to be the best DP generator in the game. You can use skill 2 as well for the heals, but that's more for the low rarity squads, 3 and 4 stars, and that's for week 2. See, skill 2 is good, level 7 is good enough, M1 is very nice, but you don't need that. Texas skill 2 is great as well at level 7 and above, and Zima to hold down the bot lane while Shaw or Feeder is regenerating their SP to push your enemies up. Last but not least, Bagpipe. She does incredible damage, but even with just one Bagpipe copy, your vanguards, they're gonna start with plus 6 SP. All right, that's 6 seconds off. For your Myrtle, that's crazy good. She can also hold things down with her massive damage with her skill 3. Even at level 7 will get the job done for you. Do you need these operators? No, but they really help you out. There are, of course, alternatives. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not talking about the caster squad, that's because the other squads are just way better. There are a lot of stealth enemies, so you need to block to deal with them. I'm not saying that the casters cannot make it. I really want to recommend, if you want to go with the caster squad, to get your Ifrits ready. Her skill 2 and 3 will be both not only useful in the permanent map, but in the daily rotation maps as well. Out of all these operators, Myrtle is so good, and you don't have to have her skill above level 7. And of course, if you're using the special tile to push up your enemies, Shaw and Feeder, their skill to level 7 is high priority, skill 1 for both of these operators. And you can use Feeder skill 2 as well if you're going to go with the ping pong strat for the high risks to keep them in the heat pumps. But yeah, other than that, you can use her skill 1. Now I'm going to finish the video with the specialists, Cliffheart and Rope. You don't need to have both, but having one or the other, it's great. Skill 1 and 2, they're both great. They both have their uses. Cliffheart with her stuns, the true damage, and just yoinking them into the heat pump, and you can pretty much control it. We're going to talk about this in the strat video. So don't sleep on the specialists, especially like Cliffheart, man. She is even used in the Barren Plaza against the drones, and she is used in the Shattered Avenue at the highest risk recorded clear with that skill 2, baby. So yeah, Cliffheart and Rope deserves a lot of love. And that's gonna pretty much wrap up the prep video for the permanent map. I know I listed a few operators, but yeah, they're worth your investment. I know there are other strats, so many other creative strats and other operators that you can bring to clear this. So don't worry guys, there are multiple solutions to the problems on this map, which we'll talk about more in the strat video. I know this video has been way too long already. So yeah, once again, don't panic. We have a month from today to pretty much prepare. So let's get right to it. Let's do it right by subscribing to the channel and smashing this video a like. I'll see you guys in part 2 of the series. I'll see you then. Take care. Your boy Zeal's out.